Good afternoon, Nkosi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray. How are you, Amanda?
I'm really good. I'm excited to be here. I really am interested in the topic that we're talking about today, so it'll be a great day.
Sorry, it's very, very early. Here in UK, it's the afternoon. It's 1 p.m. now, 12
Mm.
minutes past 1.
Yeah, and here it's 6 a.m. and I'm on summer holidays because I'm a teacher and so I have the summer off. And so it's bright and early, but I was actually up before my alarm went off. So it's good. Good to be here.
Yeah, so the topic today is covert narcissism, the hidden face of narcissistic abuse. Not all narcissists are loud, arrogant, and attention-seeking. Some wear a much subtitle mask. Charming, they're very quiet, and even disrespected, deprecating, deprecating on the surface. So this is the realm of covert narcissism, also known as vulnerable or shy narcissism, while covert narcissism is they are actually are easy to spot. So Amanda, you've dated, which one have you dated here?
Actually, both. It's interesting because overt narcissism, people are like grandiose sense of self. They're very charismatic. They're like to be the life of the party. They come across as very confident, but then inside it's like very they're really unhealthy, essentially. And so navigating that and narcissism, like when I was married over 14 years ago now, or 12 years ago now, it wasn't even a term I'd ever even heard of before. And then when I was going through a divorce, my one person was talking to my dad, and they were like, sounds like your daughter's ex-husband is a narcissist. And like, I'd never even heard the term before. And then I looked it up. And I was like, I can check every single box on this list of like over the top vacations and a gigantic ring and like all of the things like they come into your life and they make you feel like they're the person you're always been meant to be with, and they chameleon themselves into pretending to be who you've always wanted in your life. And you're like, wow, I've met my soulmate, essentially. But then after they get you, that's when like a light switches and they become a completely different person. And that person is a scary, abusive, unhealthy, very unhealthy person. But then your system's already like attached to that person, and you're like hoping that the original person that you first met comes back, and you see glimpses of them, so there's like hope, and then you blame yourself that it's like something that you've done. And so it's really, especially being a very empathic person, and empaths and narcissists are attracted because we have so much empathy and we're willing to give so much and care for people. Is That's why lots of empaths are like nurses and teachers and people in caring professions. And so the difference between like an overt narcissist, which I was married to, like to a covert narcissist, is covert narcissist isn't about the spotlight. So they're more difficult to determine who they are. And they're someone who actually comes across as shy, humble, introverted, and it makes it really difficult to recognize their narcissist tendencies because you don't see it right away like you do once you've met a grandiose narcissist. When you've met a grandiose narcissist, it's pretty easy to pick out another grandiose narcissist again, because you're like, oh, that person has a big sense of self. They like to be in the spotlight. They like to talk themselves up. They like twist the truth a lot on what their reality is. Like I would remember going to things and I would like read, and I was journaling gratitude every night, and we'd go to like a dinner party or something, and my ex-husband would be like, oh yeah, we read every night and we journal our 10 gratitude things, and I'm like, no we don't, I do. Like, you don't do that at all, it's me. Like, and like I get consistent on it for like 6 months, and then I fall off the wagon and I forget to do it, and then I like I'm not as consistent as I wish that I was with my gratitude journal. And so there's like, you're telling all these people that we do this every day, and I'm like, but you don't at all, and I do most of the time, but not all the time. And so just like things like that, like there's like little white lies within everything. And then covert narcissism is so much more difficult to seek out, because, or to like pinpoint right away. It takes a lot longer to recognize those traits, because they come across as very shy, humble. They're somebody that seems like they'll honestly be like, I don't have my stuff together, or they make you feel sorry for them, essentially. And so, but they can also be like passive aggressive and lie a lot and control and manipulate. And so it's such a interesting, there's a whole like a range of narcissism, and narcissistic personality disorder is like on the far end, and then empaths are on the other far end, and then but everyone has narcissistic traits. But when you get into like the personality disorder, they're on the extreme end, and they have all of the traits that they talk about. So Nomza, what made you pick this topic?
I don't know. I came across because I've joined the group for narcissists, because at first I thought maybe it's just men
No,
who are
no.
narcissists. And I really, when I joined this group, it turns out actually women, there are some women as well. So when you listen to the stories of people that have gone through it, you're like, what? A man being abused by a woman, like, yeah, very,
Yeah.
very manipulative. And some men, they're like lost their confidence. I think this group has about 300 uh, people there.
Mhm.
And when people share their story, it's just so painful what they
Mhm.
have been through. And it's the things like, like when you explain, is the things that you truly don't see that he exists in this world, but it
Yeah.
does, because we haven't got through it ourselves. So someone who has gone through it, like when you explain that this is what they do, and now I can actually, when I'm listening to you, I can relate it to the stories that my friends, some of them have dated the same similar people, but because they didn't know that is a narcissist, so you can't give it a name. So yeah,
The like big indicators right at the beginning is if they love bomb you a whole bunch right away. That's a big indicator that you're dealing with a narcissist, because most relationships take a really long time to like grow
to
and
grow,
learn
yeah.
about each other and begin to like divorce, begin to form attachments. And so if somebody is like telling you they love you in like the first week, like that's a big red flag. Right? That's a huge red flag to be like, whoa, when they're like, oh, I've never met anybody like you before, and all of these things, like right at the beginning, that's like a like, whoa, let's pause this and slow things down, because
Like,
that,
whoa, 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 whoa.
yeah, and that's definitely what happened to me. I was in a really long-term relationship. I broke up with that long-term relationship and was in a really like sad, dark place. And I had met my ex-husband by accident, essentially. And he just like came in and pretended to be everything that I had wanted the other person that I'd just broken up to do and be for me. And when he did that, then it was like, oh, but there were like, when I look back, I'm like, there's so many red flags that I know of now that I would never put up with now, because but at the same time too, I was like, I was this broken shell of a person, because I had really loved the person that I had been in a relationship for like 4 or 5 years with. And breaking up with that person was really hard for me. And so when this other person swooped into my life and pretended to be essentially everything that I had ever hoped for in a person, it was it's like you see on TV, like fairy tale type of things. And then when the real person starts to show up and starts to gaslight you and manipulate you and lose their mind over things that are like the most simplest thing, and you're walking on eggshells all of the time, it's a really taxing on your mental health and on your cortisol levels, and you're like going like this all the time because you never know if you're going to be in fight or flight situations on a regular basis. And so healing from narcissistic abuse is something that really takes a long time. It's not an easy fix, and it takes a really deep dive into yourself so that you can be like, what is it about me that attracted myself to this person? What is it about me that ignored some of these red flags? What is it about me that maybe didn't know anything about these things, and now my eyes are open so that I never repeat that pattern again? And so those are lots of the questions that I've had to ask myself. And I think when you probably look at people that you've dated, like when after that relationship, I ended up in another relationship, and it was very brief because I noticed those traits right away. Because within 3 months, those traits started showing up. And so within those 3 months, I was able to be like, okay, that's a red flag. And then I gave it a little bit more time. I'm like, that's another one. Okay, that this is not even at the 6 month mark, and I need to end this because of all of these things. And it's a lot easier to be like, you can sift through people faster when you've had that experience, right? To really be able to like really high jealousy, really big insecurities, those sort of things that you think are people opening up to you, but they're really like a way to manipulate, especially with covert narcissism. When people open up to you and tell you too much too early, it can really be a sign of covert narcissism because they're trying to like suck you in with their sob story and then use that sob story to manipulate your empathy.
Yeah, I like it when you say when someone opens up to you very early, because the relationship, I always say to people, relationship is built step by step,
Mm.
and it takes time. It doesn't take 1 week, like you say, when someone start telling you within a week that they love you. So that is a completely a red flag because you have to get to know that person within that 1 week. When did they start activating the feelings of love? If you guys are getting to know each other, and because the first date, and then when you go on a first date, you go on a second date, you're still nervous, you're still getting to know that person, and you're still relating to them, you're still inviting them slowly into your own world. When do they activate this love within a week? So to me, that would be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well,
But
they don't
if
know
you
what love
don't know, and they pamper you as well, that like you say, that everything is big. So you're like, no man has ever treated me like this. This must be amazing.
is. Yeah.
So everything is just all about just getting you into their website.
Yeah.
Once they get you, that's it.
Yeah. No, I think, sorry, I have my nose is ready, so I just need to grab a Kleenex. Um, I think too, one of the things that if you are in the dating world and somebody wants to see you every single day right at the beginning, that's like, whoa, this is too intense, too fast, because things should evolve slowly, right? It should be like you just slowly evolve into things, because that can be a red flag for sure of somebody that doesn't have enough else going on in their life to like be like, I can see you every single day. Like, whoa, what's going on here? You need to have a life of your own. And so it's interesting because when I like went through what it is that I went through, um, at first it was mind-blowing because I did a ton of research on narcissistic abuse and overt narcissism specifically. But then as time goes on, you're like, okay, like maybe I was wrong. I was just thinking the other day, actually, because some things that still continue to happen because I my daughter, um, and so I have to be connected in some capacity still to my ex, who I believe has overt narcissism, which is different than covert, but still they have lots of traits that are similar. It's just not as easy to um quickly determine who a covert narcissist is. But I was thinking, and I was like, when he got together with his like third ex-wife essentially, or third wife, who when they first got together I was like, oh, like she's so lovely, my daughter just loves her, and he seems to be really great with her. Like maybe it was me and I'm wrong and he isn't this, and he isn't a narcissist, and it was just me and I was projecting that onto him because of my own inner childhood wounds or whatever. And
She
so
didn't say that, did she?
no, I thought that I was thinking this about myself, and I was like, I wondered if that was the case, and then and I was like, she's so great with my daughter, he seems so great with her, like this is really good, this is really positive. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong of what I learned after we split up. And then since he's now been divorced a third time, and um she has now seen the person that I had seen after I got divorced too, the very um just the awful awful, and then I have so much guilt for my daughter for who her dad is in lots of ways because of this. And then there's, I don't know if you have this group in Europe at all, or in, there's a group on Facebook and it's called Are We Dating the Same Guy? Do you guys have that, a Facebook group called that
Are
there?
we dating the same guy?
Yeah, it's called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And like there's ones for different like cities. And so they have it here, and I know they have it in the States too. And it's like Facebook groups, and they even have an app now too. And I don't know if it's expanded to Europe, but they definitely have it in the States and in Calgary and more in Canada. And so since then he's been posted multiple times on this site, and it's almost mind-blowing to see what multiple people have said about him, because it's, and then also even what people say about other people that they've had similar experience with is with.
Oh, I can
And I
see
think,
it's actually it's a big group.
yeah, do they have it in for like your specific area though?
I don't know, I just typed UK and it just came up.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have to be a woman to be on it. So it won't let you in, and they have to verify you and everything. Oh my goodness, my nose is so runny.
Are we
Um
dating the same guy?
yeah,
Yeah.
and so it actually like is there to protect women, and it's a really great site just for women to check, right? To check if they're being lied to. And I think I wish that this site existed when I was, well, 14 years ago, or actually 16 years ago when I had met him. Um, I wish that this site existed because it would have saved me a whole bunch of stress and headache and um things to heal from. But I also think sometimes we're meant to go through different things in our life so that we can grow stronger and then in turn help others in the end. And so even though it was a really challenging time and a very abusive time of my life, I know now that I was meant to go through that because I'm strong enough that I can then turn around and help others, right? Who are going through similar experiences or who have faced um like a lot of emotional abuse, and it's really, when we look back on things in our life.
There's the one guy that has been posted as well. This is embarrassing for men.
But
Someone
it's
is,
really good too, because sometimes it says like I'll see people and people write like, oh, like they're a really great guy. I'm friends with them. Don't know them from a dating side, but like wonderful person. And then there's ones like, this person is the worst human alive. This is all of the things that they did to me and my experience with them. And it really helps protect people. And I think it's really good because this would have saved me from what I had to experience and live through and then heal from eventually. And so I think even now, like the term narcissism is out there. It wasn't out there. I never even heard of it before I had experienced it. And it wasn't until I fully got divorced that I even heard the term. You're like, I'm reading all of the comments in here.
Honestly, do you read the comments of the people that comment?
Sometimes, well, if I know the person or if I've like, I'll, I don't go on it very often, but sometimes people will send me a message and say, your ex-husband was posted again, and they send me screenshots of what's been
No
said.
way, Amanda, no way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when people are posting your ex, what are they saying about him?
Oh, that he's the worst human alive. Yeah. He was just posted like 3 days ago, which is hilarious that you asked for this topic today because and I'll just pull it up on my thing. There's one, I'll read it to you. This is what somebody has said, not me. What someone has said. I'll just search it really quickly.
That must be
Um,
heartbreaking for his child, though,
she
Amanda.
doesn't she doesn't know that this is on here or being said because it's a private group, right?
Yeah.
Um, give me so this one. Oh boy, where does one start with this one? True narcissist. Gets thrown around a lot, but sadly this one is the real deal. Google love bomber. If he sees something he wants, he will make you think he's never felt like this. Uses and discards you sooner if he suspects you won't serve his needs. Has 3 ex-wives, multiple promise rings. He just loves being in love. Must move fast. If not, on his timeline, he is insecure, needy, pressures, and move quickly, seeking a fairy tale perfect relationship. He's a psycho serial dater, looking for his ego supplied through women, uses his daughter to make himself look good, cries to show he's sensitive, how sensitive he is, recently resorted to church to boost his image. He legitimately needs help. Postures well, seems great until it's not. Usually by then he's love bombed you so hard you can't believe it. Run, trust your gut, and run. He needs therapy, not another wife. I have no idea who wrote this because it's anonymous and it wasn't me.
And then
Yeah.
they've got his picture on it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it says, oh, there's another one. We dated a number of years ago before his most recent ex-wife. He shared private photos I sent him to a bunch of his friends and promised they would never go anywhere. Now he's also lying to people that he had cancer and claiming that he's so grateful and that his third ex-wife left him because he had cancer, but she didn't. He had a benign tumor, no radiation, no chemo, no nothing. That's what we're dealing with. And when I like, even when I read those things, I'm like, how how is this possible?
How long were you guys together?
Not long. And it would have been even less if I wouldn't have ended up pregnant really fast after getting married. But it's really interesting with these type of people because it's like so intense, so fast, like engaged and married within 2 years, pregnant after like 2.5, like well, I was pregnant 3 months after getting married. And I was literally going to leave him at the 3-month mark of our marriage, and I found out I was pregnant. So that made our relationship last a little bit longer, but I left when she was 2, just before her second birthday. Yeah. And then I went back for a little bit and then left again before her third birthday. So it was not a healthy time of my life at all. But then I look back and I'm like, I can achieve anything. I can make it through anything because I was this like really shy, insecure person who like just wanted to be like loved and cared for, and I had lots of goals in my career, and I literally went through a very high conflict divorce while um while raising a toddler and doing my master's. And I think if I can achieve that, then I can achieve kind of anything that I put my mind to. And so I think that's something that we need to like look back at, and if you've ever gotten out of a narcissistic abuse relationship, that you just really need to be proud of yourself, because there's like you have achieved so much just in and of getting out of that. No, you're like, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I'm just gonna read all of these and be completely mind blown of how people are.
Literally, this woman, she's saying, how did I know about this app? She's actually her husband. She found her husband
Mhm,
swiping, and
mhm.
she's posted. She has
Yeah,
got 10K people replying. Her post has been shared 320 something times. I'm like, 10K comments,
yeah.
10,000
Wow.
comments. I how can you date a junk like that? He's a good looking guy,
Mhm,
very like he very respect. You can see like he looks like charming and stuff, but he's a junk.
mhm. Yep. And that's part of the like allure, is usually they're very good looking, very charismatic, very
Muscles, the
yeah,
muscle. My
yeah,
goodness, but he's a junk.
yeah, but very very unhealthy. And I think that's something that we learn as we get older too, is how to like sift through like who are really truly genuine people, and who are the people that are going to show up for you, and type of life do you want to live. And one of the things, like, I go to counseling still, even though it's been like 12 years. And I'll say to my counselor, like, sometimes I feel like I'm not going to meet anybody, or like, or eventually, like, maybe I'll just be alone. And she's like, you could have a boyfriend in a second if you wanted to. You just are waiting for the right person, because you're don't want to destroy the peace that you have, and you're not willing to settle for a mediocre relationship. And then like that is really true, because I know there's a lot of people who are in mediocre relationships and are unhappy but are just too scared to leave, and that's not healthy either. And so there's one thing about being lonely when you're single, and there's another thing that about being lonely when you're in a relationship. And being lonely in a relationship, I think, is 100 times worse than being lonely when you're single, because when you're single, at least you have the potential to meet someone, or you can like put yourself out there and go join like singles hiking groups or singles groups to play board games or whatever. There's so many different ways to meet people now. I don't do those things, but I am on some of those groups. I've just never actually attended anything. I'm like, I just
Honestly,
busy with my own
Amanda, I
life with
never thought, I don't know, how come you never told me about this app? If you have anything that you think will help me as a dating coach, because I like to
oh,
read, you know.
you've never heard of this site as a dating coach?
No, are we dating the same guy? No.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been out for a while. Probably I've known about it for at least 3 years. Yeah. No, probably, yeah, 3 years. I've known about it for 3 years, and I don't know how long it's been out there, but I had a girlfriend tell me about it after I had an experience with somebody that was had very covert narcissistic traits. Like the lying and the deception, I think, is something that is really key. Like when you catch people in lies, it's really that's a that's a big red flag, right? That's a like, I need to probably walk away from this, because it's not healthy, right? Those are things that are very big clues about covert narcissism. Over overt narcissism is these lies that don't make sense. And when they get caught, they gaslight you? Do they oh, there's a term I can't remember what it's called, where they like flip the script and say that it was like you were the problem. Oh, I can't remember what it's, there's a term for what I'm thinking of, but maybe it'll come to me. But there's definitely things where it's hidden until it's right in your face. And when it's
Yeah,
right in your face, then it's
because
like you can't not see it.
yeah, because
And I think that's the
these
crazy thing
guys are like good
about this is
looking
like
muscle. Yeah,
people
good.
can have these traits and like you can be completely blind to it. And then when you see it, it's like, oh my goodness, I can't not see this, and I need to rid this from my life completely. And so that's something that, and it's like, okay, why are these traits showing up in my life, and why? So I think boundaries are something that's really important, especially if you've had experiences with narcissism before, is being able to set like really clear boundaries. And then if people are trying to like push those boundaries, then it could be a narcissistic trait too, right? Because if you're trying to push the boundary, they're trying to see how far they can push you in certain areas, because that's a sense of control. I should go to school to be a psychologist on narcissistic abuse, I think. My next life, I'll do that.
You know what surprises me? These guys are so good looking.
Mhm. Mhm.
And but they have these hidden are we dating in
Well, and sites like this are what like allow has stopped them from being able to manipulate people that the way they were able to before. And the other thing too is the narcissistic abuse gets like higher and as they get older, because their charms don't work the same way that they used to, and their looks don't work the same way that they used to when they were younger. So when they were younger and people weren't as aware or didn't have the experiences that they've had, it's easy for them to attract mates and attract a new supply. Whereas if you're not the supply anymore, and you should look up narcissistic supply and the cycles of narcissistic supply, the like devaluing, and then how they keep you in this constant cycle of love bombing and then devaluing and discarding, and then love bombing, devaluing, discarding. And it's a constant cycle. And if you find yourself in that cycle, it's probably an indication that you're in some sort of narcissistic relationship. And it could not be somebody that has complete narcissistic personality disorder. It could just be like on that spectrum, right? And narcissists, or sorry, empaths, if you are an empath and you know you're an empath, then you need to really look at your traits that you have that are attracting the narcissistic,
narcissist?
because narcissists need your loving, caring energy. And if you don't have really clear boundaries as an empath, then they will suck all of the like good energy out of you. And so that's something that I've had to learn for sure, because my traits were just as much a reason for me to attract that as theirs were.
Oh my goodness, this is so
Yeah.
just
So when you're
so
teaching people to date, you can be like, well, just Google their name in this website and you can see. Have they been posted multiple times? What do people say about them? And I've seen many people that I've like known, or even a couple people that I dated posted on there, and nobody said inappropriate, well, unkind things about most of the people except for my ex-husband. That one's it could be a TV show. What Saul said about that one.
That's really, it's really sad how this world is, because if imagine they go to the gym, they're looking good, their bodies are looking good, they're looking healthy, and but there's this hidden.
Mhm. And the thing with it too is they're really good at like holding it together for about a year or two,
Yeah,
and then the cracks start to show. And when the cracks start to show, then you're still searching for that person that you originally like fell in love with, right? And then but that person doesn't exist. They don't exist at all. It was like a reflection. They chameleon themselves into being what you want them to be. That's with overt narcissism, with covert narcissism. So you like have so much empathy for the like sad life that they've had, and you like think that you can help them. And so if you're an empath, you're like, oh, I can help you. I will love you. I'll show you I can love you the way that you've always wanted to be loved.
to be
And
loved. Yeah.
they're like sucking your energy out of through like your empathy of wanting to help.
That's
Whereas
why
the
I always say when you meet a man or a woman, if they is like if they slacking their ex, or cause like you are explaining like your ex was a narcissist, but you're
Mhm.
not explaining in anger or anything. You've moved on from that. You've accepted that he wasn't good enough for you. And I always say, but if you meet someone and they're still angry,
Mhm.
and don't date them. And
Yeah.
also, a relationship has to go step by step. And if you meet that person that says, you know what, let's get married today, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and everything is so quick. How do you get a chance to truly get to know them? And also if you're like they're like your ex and they're buying you a big things, and that can make you like, you know what, this guy is so different, no one has ever treated me this way. But deep down, even themselves, they know, because women do tell them that you're a narcissist. uh
Yeah, well, and I don't think that term was around so much when I was
yeah,
going.
so
It's definitely become more mainstream, and people are more aware now. And I think people are more aware because they're looking at self-help and looking at their patterns and looking at why are these things showing up in my life. I think too, like one of the things, so I was quite upset that he was posted again the other day, and I like teared up at the gym and when I was talking to one of my friends, and they're like, are you still affected by him? And I was like, no, I'm only affected when I worry about my daughter.
yeah, because you have a
That's when
child
I'm
with him,
affected.
and
So
that's the worry.
yeah, so I'm definitely affected when I think that stuff can affect my child, and otherwise it doesn't affect me because I'm able to remove myself. And I remember years ago, like dropping her off to go camping, and I was really sad afterwards. And I was like, I'm not sad about him. I'm sad for her that she won't have the family that I wish that she had had. And so I think that's something that you can, if you're trying to heal from it too, you can say like, I'm not sad about the person. I'm sad about the like vision that I had for myself, and then the vision that I had for my child and that I wanted for my child, because that's not a reality. And so you can like grieve that sadness, and that's very different than being still like sad about the person. I was grieving the sadness of what I wanted for my kid. And I think that's something that I still struggle with a little bit for sure. And one of the things too, Gnomes, are like you're talking about how do you know? And it takes time. I remember after I left that relationship, I had another relationship with a man who was very kind and very wonderful in lots of ways. And then we like waited a year to introduce the kids, and then we like waited another year, and then we tried to move in together, and we gave it a 6-month trial, and we warned the kids that it was a 6-month trial. They lived with me for 4 months, and I was like, I can't live with you. Like, I think you're a lovely person. I would set you up with anyone. I cannot live with you or your kids, and that's okay. And we literally left everything on really good terms, and we're still like Facebook friends. And if I messaged him, like I had to message him like a year or something ago because something got mailed to me at my house that was meant for him. And I was like, this is really weird. This is like 5 years later. But I'll just like send him a message like, here, you had some mail. Like, do you want me to open it and see what it says? It was nothing important, but it was just like, you might want to change that because it's weird that this got delivered to my house like 5 years later. But we left on really good terms. And I think that's something that you can learn how to do too. Like, they're not a bad person. That person wasn't a bad person. My ex-husband is a different story. But we left on really loving terms. Like, you're a wonderful person. You're just not the person for me, and that's okay. Right. And I went to my psychologist and I was like, what did I do wrong this time? Like, I tried to do everything right. And she was like, you did everything right. You never know until you try. And so you're still willing to continue to open your heart and to try and to be open to having people in your life. And that's a really good thing. But you also are learning with each and every relationship. And so that was really like eye-opening for me, because I was like, I can do everything right and still end up not in the relationship that I was hoping for. But I learned, right? I learned that I didn't just need somebody nice. I need somebody who's like my true partner. And so that's something that I've like been like in some ways searching for too, but also trying to find that within myself. And so when we're like healing from narcissistic abuse, a lot of it is like inner self work of like, how can I heal that part of me that allowed that into my life? And then how can I then continue to still like open my heart and be like willing to let people in and be open to sharing my story and knowing my truth and knowing that I've grown from the person that I was when I had that abusive relationship. And I think you probably have experiences like that too, maybe not to the extent that mine is, when random people write stuff like that about one of your exes.
I've not dated him, and that is that bad. This is bad, Amanda.
This is real bad, real bad. Yeah. Like, I think
My
I
exes,
thought
my ex
I
is
thought
very
he was
pleasant.
bad, but then stuff that has been posted on that and previously, since, because he's been posted a few times, it's worse than I ever thought. He's worse than I
But
ever thought.
you know, the beauty about it, Highsmith, the beauty about it is, when you actually talk about the stories of how he has been posted, imagine, Amanda, if you didn't get out of it,
No, I
where
would have
would
been
you
an
be?
alcoholic. I would have been a raging alcoholic.
You'll be a junk. Honestly, you'll be a junk.
You have to like commit me to the mental hospital.
Yeah, because the people have to find things. Those who are staying in those kind of relationship, they have to find something to cope with,
Yeah.
and they don't have the courage to say I'm going to leave. This person is not right for me. But I'm so glad that you were able to leave, to say, you know what, I don't want to be in a marriage where I just have a ring on it. I
Mm-hmm.
want to have a marriage that has a meaning. I want to enjoy my marriage, but this is not marriage, and you got out of it. But now that you are sitting on the other side and people are posting about him, and you're like, this is my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
This could have been me. How many women, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine.
I
I
feel really bad for his most recent ex-wife. She is like the sweetest person, and she's like so kind.
how is he getting married so quick though?
Well, it was like almost 10 years when he got remarried, or maybe less, maybe 8. That's not
Also,
that.
when you got married to him, he had been married before.
Yeah. So I'm the third ex-wife, or I was the second ex-wife.
Okay, so he's very lucky
You
in
have a
getting
new wife each decade, is what I think.
he's very lucky in getting married.
I'll just place some bets on when the next one's gonna be. I think before he turns like a 10 years from now, 10 years from now, we'll have divorce party number 4.
No, I've not dated guys that are that bad. I've dated guys that are confused. In
Mm.
confused.com, not sure. but I've
No.
not just dated that bad.
Well, you
My,
probably, maybe you have, you just haven't had to have contact to know that it's that bad. And
I
that's
think the only person that
because of
I
my
treated
daughter.
had proper relationship, it was Hop's dad.
Hmm.
My oldest one, I see him all the time. We would talk. We're very, it is part of the family. But
Hmm.
I've not, the only thing that I know is for me, I was young and I didn't know how to deal with, I didn't know how to put me first. Our
Hmm.
relationship was destroyed through interference.
Hmm.
And I think most of my relationship are actually they get destroyed. I'm not very good. I pick the right guys, but it's
Hmm.
the family, their family that interferes
Hmm.
through my relationship. But because me, I don't get involved. I don't want to be part of it. If you destroy your own blood and thinking you're doing the right thing, I just step aside and let you be. But
Hmm.
all I know, it was then, like, I don't know when I was going through human blood sacrifice, and then the angel of God, and then he started revealing that this is why your relationship, like revealing, because God, it shows you the secrets that are hidden so you can deal with them. Like, this is the person that is destroying your relationship. So you
Hmm.
need to pray about it. But then Lucifer comes in to tell you that this person is actually destroying their relationship, and I'm gonna let them think they're all that, and I'm gonna take their relationship to, and they will not remember why I've taken their relationship is because of what they've done to you. So then I was like, so revenge, why do you have to revenge? So I didn't realize actually that Satan, it brings back whatever the energy you do. So it
Hmm.
was then when he came for judgment, he was like, judging, because when he's telling you the judgment of torture for your child, because if my daughter, let's say a relatives of her family wrongs me or they interfere with her relationship, so she has to face the crime because that is her blood. So then me is where I have to say to God, I'm sorry for whatever was done, because I can't make an excuse. So if I make a mistake, my
Hmm.
children pay for my mistakes and my siblings, they pay. So I had to, this is where, but I didn't realize that this is a narcissist, this is how bad the things it gets. So I have to say to the men that are good men out there, give them credit, Amanda, because I didn't know this kind of group exists. I'm on that group.
It's
That
eye-opening. It's really eye-opening for sure. And it's you think that those types of people only exist in like the movies, but it's not actually made up. It happens in real life.
honestly, I didn't know this kind of thing exists. I'm on that group that has 300,000 people, but
Hmm.
this one has 1 million.
1 million
Uh,
in the UK. Wow.
and they are posting the
Hmm.
pictures, these good looking guys.
Hmm.
They're like, are we dating the same guy?
Yeah.
And there's this black guy that is, it has 10K comments and people
Yeah.
are coming forward.
And then like there's ones like I just was saying to my friend that was over the other last night, we were playing cards and I was like telling them that my ex-husband had been posted again. And I was like, I think one of our old neighbors, because I used to live on the same street as my one of my friends that was over playing cards with us. And I was like, showed him the picture of this other person that had been posted on there. But there's only 4 comments and it was like, I think that guy used to work with me or something. And that was like the only comment. Or the other one was like, he looks exactly like this like famous person. I can't unsee it. Like those were there were only 4 comments. That's all it said. And I was like, I could say like he was my old neighbor, but I'm not going to say that. I don't know him from a dating perspective, so I don't have anything to add to that. I've never actually posted on anybody's comments for it, but it's definitely interesting to, especially if you've been in an abusive relationship, just to keep an eye on those things to so that you can forewarn other people, and that you can post anonymously too is really interesting. I think, well, it protects you. So I think those things are good because I've seen even really positive ones where like, this person's a wonderful person. I work with them. They're so great. Like, I hope it works out. Right?
Yeah, actually, for me, I think I just give credit to every man out there who seen the signs of abuse, and they go out, and every woman out there who's seen the
Mhm.
signs and be able to recognize it and say, you know what, this is not a right relationship. And I always say this to church when people say, you have to go to church and go to therapy. I'm like, if someone is going through abuse, how are you telling them that God wants you to stay in an abusive relationship?
It's
God
for
would never ever agree for somebody to get to be in a state of where they have to face death, because when you don't get out, you face death. There are some people, I've seen them where they say the woman had to, it ended up dying, go to church, and then you tell pastors, this is what I'm going through, because they don't want shame, they don't encourage abuse. I'm like, if I'm a pastor and someone comes and tell me that they're in an abusive relationship, I'm not gonna tell them that you got to pray to God. Come on. Is the other person that has to pray for that demon that is inside of him to get out of them, not the person that is being abusive. Because for me, I would just say, you get out, or if pastor has the courage, and go encourage that person that has demons to go and get rid of their demons. But
Yeah.
it's for
I
me,
think
if
a lot
some,
of us have our own inner demons, right? Like, whether I don't believe in the same things that you believe, but we all are struggling with our own inner demons, right? And so
yeah,
if you're in some sort of unhealthy relationship, then it's probably part of something that you're struggling with
yeah,
yourself. And that if you're able to get out of that, then that just
yeah,
shows you how strong you are, and how you're able to like grow as a person and grow as a human and grow to be like the best version of yourself, right?
yeah. I
And some
definitely
people seek
100%.
religion for that, and some people seek other areas for that. And I think that whatever your path is, which is great for you, or that that as long as it helps you become the best version of yourself, right? And for you, like, your church helps you become the best version of yourself. For me, it's like getting out in nature and going to yoga and writing and just practicing mindfulness and eating healthy. Those are the things that like really help me become the best version of myself, getting myself to the gym. Right? Those sort
Yeah,
of things. So, and I think it can be different paths for each person too, whatever it is that they're struggling with. And some people struggle with relationships, other people struggle with narcissism or alcoholism, right? Like, we each have our own things that our souls are trying to grow with, or grow as we navigate this lifetime.
yeah. I think you have to. I always say, anyways, it's 5 minutes past time, and I will have to wrap up. I always say to people, if you're in an abusive relationship, don't even try to think like what you were saying, that you're hoping inside, you hope that that person is going to change, is going to come the different character, they're going to be this, they're going to be that. They're not going to change,
Mhm.
because change comes from within. It's when that person sees that behavior and say, I don't want to be like this, I need to seek help. And that is change. But
Mhm.
when you're dating someone and you believe that even the police, I've seen them on YouTube, they say, when they deal with these kind of cases, the woman, sometimes they will remove the woman because the woman reports the case, or the man reports the woman. And then that person that reported the case, they come and withdraw the case, they go back to the person, and they say there's nothing they can do about it. All they have to do, they have to hope that this person comes back and file the case and leave. But they say some, they end up dying, and some mentally health problems. So what advice, Amanda, as we are living now, that you can give someone who hasn't got confidence, but they are dating someone who is a narcissist, and they are hoping that one day this person will change, will be the best husband ever, which is never going to happen. So what advice can you give?
Well, I definitely would start researching narcissism and all the different types, because there's different strands of it, and to look at what are the indicators of it. And then I would say to really look at yourself and what is it that is allowing you to be stuck in that relationship. And then what are the steps that you can take to remove yourself? Or is your brain somehow from your childhood trauma addicted to the cortisol up and downs, right? That your family of origin may have had. So are you addicted to those fight and flight things because that feels normal to you? And if it is, then maybe you need to like do some self-reflection and go and seek a counselor, psychologist or something. And then when we're looking at narcissism too, like look at like what traits do you have that are attracting those things, right? So there's a lot of pieces to it. And I think when we are in abusive relationships, we tend to say like, oh, it's not that bad. Or um they're all these good things for these reasons, right? And so I think sometimes we really need to just look at like, what is it that I want in my life? Because some of us might be in like okay relationships too, but they're not the relationship that we really truly want. Because I have a friend in that situation right now, or they're like, well, it's not that bad. Like there's all of these things, but it's not the person that I want to be with forever. It's like we're we're basically glorified roommates. And I'm like, if you're a glorified roommate, that's not a relationship. That's not a partnership. That's not a marriage. That's a roommate, right? You have a roommate, you don't have a marriage. And so if you want a true relationship, then you need to be seeking that and become the best version of yourself so that you will attract that.
Yeah, you have to, you actually have to look after yourself. And for me, guys, I just leave you with this. Know yourself, and if you're dating and if it doesn't feel right in that relationship, we leave God out of it. I don't want to say people to use God, and mostly there are people who hide behind the Bible, but while they're still very, very abusive, God
Mhm.
will never ever allow anyone to abuse. He gets angry for his soul to be tortured, his souls to be tortured. He gets angry. So never ever stay in a relationship and use God and say, I'm a Christian and I have to stay in this abusive relationship. But God does not like divorce. But at the same time, he knows that if you stay in an abusive relationship, the next thing will be death. So he wants you to out.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I can tell you, out, if you have the courage. But if you don't have the courage, you can contact us here at Ngozi Talk Shows. We are coaches. And it's that it takes that person to say something to someone and they give you words of encouragement. And then you are able to step outside and see the world in a different perspective, because it's the fear of, am I going to do this on my own? Like Amanda has a daughter. She was able to say, whatever that will be with my daughter, I'm going to have to face it on my own with raising my daughter as a single mom. And she did it. Did
I
she
think
fear?
for women especially, like if especially if you have children, just ask yourself, would I ever want somebody to treat my child like this? And if the
Yeah,
answer is no, then you need to change something.
yeah.
It was really that simple for me. It was like I would never want my daughter to be in a relationship like this. So if I continue to stay in this, then what am I modeling for her? I would rather model being a single mom in a healthy space by myself than model staying in a very unhealthy, abusive relationship, because then they're going to think that's normal, and that's not normal. Right? And so model what it is that you want, and set those boundaries for what you want, so that your children are treated the way that you hope that they will be
Will
treated
be
by some.
treated, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Amanda. And guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and share our video. Facebook, subscribe, share, and please join our group. We have two groups.